I get it when your buddy is about to drop a few $100 on an extra battery for his BLUETTI AC200L. He's not just looking for a bigger number on the spec sheet. He's trying to picture the actual difference it will make on his next weekend off-grid adventure or when the grid finally gives out during a storm. He's probably scrolling through a dozen videos, wondering if the extra weight is worth the extra juice, and if he'll end up with a box that just sits in the garage because nothing else fits. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon, and that should give you the raw numbers, but what really matters is how those numbers translate into everyday use. The BLUETTI B500K is an expansion pack that adds a solid 5120Wh of energy to the AC200L portable power station. On paper, that's enough to run a small refrigerator, a few lights, a laptop, and a portable heater for an entire day, or to keep a mid-size RV's essential electronics alive through a weekend without any shore power. The key thing that separates the B500K from a generic external battery is that it's not a standalone power bank. It plugs directly into the AC200L's internal expansion port and becomes part of the same battery management system. That means the power station still knows exactly how much capacity is left, balances the cells across both units, and protects against overcharge or deep discharge just like it would with its built-in cells. If you're the type of person who spends a lot of time camping, tailgating, or doing off-grid work, the B500K can be a game changer. Imagine you're on a 3-day backcountry hike and you've got a portable fridge keeping food fresh, a small induction cooktop, a satellite communicator, and a few USB chargers. The AC200L alone gives you roughly 2000 Wh, which would get you through the first day and a half before you start watching the LED gauge dip into the red. Snap the B500K on, and you effectively double that window, letting you stay longer without a generator or a risky fuel stash. The same logic applies to an RV that's parked in a remote campground where the hookup is either non-existent or spotty. You can run the air conditioner, a small TV, and a couple of chargers without fearing that you'll have to cut power to the lights at 10 p.m. On the flip side, if you're mainly looking for a backup solution for your home office or just want a little extra wiggle room for occasional power outage drills, the B500K might be overkill. The AC200L already packs enough juice for a typical home setup. Think a few lights, a modem/router, and maybe a laptop, so adding a 5 kWh pack can feel like buying a second refrigerator when you only need a small freezer. The extra weight is also non-trivial. The B500K adds about 30 pounds to the system, and while the AC200L's built-in handle and wheels make it portable, lugging that extra mass up a set of stairs or onto a roof rack can be a real hassle. If you're not comfortable moving that weight regularly, you may end up storing it in a corner and never using it, which defeats the purpose of the investment. One of the practical strengths of the B500K is the scalable capacity expansion claim. BLUETTI designs its expansion packs to be stackable in theory, so if you ever need more than 5120Wh, you could theoretically add a second pack. The real-world test shows that the connection is solid. The locking connector clicks into place with a satisfying tactile feel, and once it's seated, there's no noticeable voltage dip or hiccup. The battery chemistry is marketed as a CA, presumably a lithium iron phosphate variant, which gives you over 4,000 charge cycles to 80% capacity. That translates to roughly a decade of regular use before you start seeing a meaningful loss of stored energy, which is impressive for a portable solution. In practical terms, you can expect to charge the combined system from 0 to full in about 68 hours with a standard AC outlet, meaning you can refill the tank overnight and be ready for the next day's demand. However, there are a few hidden trade-offs you should be aware of. First, the B500K is only compatible with BLUETTI's own ecosystem. That means if you ever decide to upgrade to a different brand of power station, the pack becomes a dead weight unless you keep the AC200L as your primary hub. The widely compatible phrasing in the marketing material refers to past and future BLUETTI models, not to third-party devices. Second, the pack does not include a dedicated charging cable. You have to use the AC200L's existing input port. If you're planning to charge the system via solar panels, You'll need to make sure your solar array can handle the combined input current, otherwise, you'll be bottlenecked at the AC200L's maximum solar input of 700 W, which, while generous, still limits how fast you can replenish that huge 5 kWh. Lastly, the B500K's enclosure, while rugged enough for most outdoor scenarios, is not fully waterproof. If you're